Welcome to the Bjorn Bracket Lab. Today we're going to be comparing our product against our biggest competitor so you can decide who's best. First up, we are going to be measuring the steel thickness of all of the brackets.
2.12 millimeters. 1.87 millimeters. 2.71 millimeters. 2.08 millimeters.
Okay, the thickest steel winner goes to the Bjorn Woodworks bracket. The second thickest goes to the Amazon bracket. Third thickness goes to this brand, and fourth thickness goes to this brand. Next, we'll be measuring the weight of each one of these brackets, because if it weighs the most, it's the most material. Okay, let's start down here.
5 pounds, 15.2 ounces. 4 pounds, 5.9 ounces. 8 pounds, 2.9 ounces. 7 pounds, 12.9 ounces.
The first place in weight goes to this bracket. The second place in weight goes to this bracket. The third place in weight goes to this bracket. And the fourth place in weight goes to this bracket. Next, we're going to be comparing the size of the fasteners that came with each one of these brackets in their boxes. So first, let's start at the end of the table. So this bracket came with these black hex head screws. They have a really fine thread, so it looks like they may be actually meant for metal, but did come with this tool. It's got a magnetic tip, so you gotta love that, and the matching black hardware is definitely what we like. Next up, these just came with just the screws. The screw heads are a Phillips head, and they are painted black, so when it's in there, it will be matching. The next bracket is the Bjorn bracket, and it kind of comes with these hex head lag bolts, so significantly more beefy, and the depth of those threads is a lot deeper. It also comes with this magnetic tool for your drill as well, and ours was the only one that has a shade sail bracket included with it. Of course, this has a shade sail mount to it, but these two did not come with a shade sail mount, with just the owl cart that I bought. And lastly, this is this brand's. It's just a typical wood screw with the Phillips head, and it's got a cap that goes on the outside so it covers it up. All right, so the winner of the fastener competition goes to this bracket, mainly because it has a very thick fastener. It's a lag bolt. It's got a hex head, and the important thing about a hex head is that it won't strip like a regular Phillips head bit might. You know, when you start wrenching on that with your drill, it's very easy to strip out the top of a Phillips head screw. Also, you could snap it as you're putting into a knot or something like that. So the beefier fasteners are definitely the winner. They're coated black, came with this tool, came with a shade sail bracket. So you definitely got more out of this kit than you did anything else, but these are simply just from ordering one bracket. Second place goes a slight edge to this brand over this brand because they are virtually the same fastener. That one has a painted head so that when, again, you are drilling that in, you might be able to flake off some of that black paint they have on the outside. Whereas this one, even if you mar the top, you've got a plastic cap that will basically cover up any kind of damage you could do to that screw. Last place goes to this brand, even though they have, you know, a lot of things we look for, like a hex head and the tool, and that it's black, but the threads clearly are meant for a different material than wood, and since these are meant for a wood beam going into them, they definitely get the last place. With these brackets, you're typically trying to make a modern looking pergola, and when you're doing modern, minimalist is the way to go. And so the next part of our competition will be determining which of these brackets are the most minimal and have the least amount of character to them so that you can create a modern minimalist pergola. Let's start with this one. This bracket has kind of a lot going on the outside, and we focus on the face of the bracket. So this will be what's facing outward. And so on the outside of this bracket, you can see at least 10 screw holes and a lot of where they've joined the pieces together. So that has a lot kind of going on. This one has a very clean face, almost no visible welds. So this does really well as well. You can see if you look closely, the weld line though. So it's been cleaned up, but you can see that they've welded this together and cleaned it up with some kind of cleaning tool, so you can see some of the pitting on there. This bracket is very clean on the outside. It does have a thin line where we've joined the pieces together, but overall it is very clean. This bracket has a hole on the outside. It's got a logo on the outside. And then of course on the inside you have a bunch of holes. And I think this brand really focuses on the modularity of what you could do with these holes. But if you don't do anything with it, it's just a bunch of holes for no reason. Okay, when it comes to the cleanliness award, it's close between these two right here for first place. This one has a really clean outside, even though you can kind of see a little bit of the weld marks. You know, it's very clean on the outside. This one's obviously very clean. There's not any weld marks that are visible, but it does have the seams. So those, at that point, they're about equal. But where this one gets the nudge over this one is when you look on the inside of the brackets and you notice that there is so many more holes on this and so many less holes on this. This makes it more minimalist, and so it passes the competition for the cleanliness test. Now, I would say between these two, I would probably give this one third place. Even though they have a big brand logo on it and it has a hole on it, this one just simply has so many screws, so many weld marks that it doesn't even really hold up close to that one. And so next, we'll be measuring the leg lengths of each of these brackets to see how far out they'll stretch out onto your timbers. The leg length will define as the distance between the outside to where they join together in the center. So let's start with this end one. That leg length is 2 1/8, 5 7/8. This one is 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. This one is 5 15/16, 5 15/16. And lastly, this one is 6 15/16 by 6 15/16. The winner of the leg length challenge is pretty self-explanatory, going from tallest almost down to shortest. First, you have this brand. It has about 1 inch further leg length than this one. This one definitely beats this one, having about a little over 1 inch more in each leg length. And then I would split these ones, because at least on this one, you have a couple directions that have a lot more stability and a further reach out. So this one will win third place. This one will be in last place. Okay, now the moment you've all been waiting for. Quality is one thing, but what is the price of all this quality you're paying for? You would think that since this one has the most first place rankings, that it would go here to the most expensive spot. But in reality, to get this in line with this being least expensive and that being most expensive, you'd actually have to move this one back up for most expensive, and you'd have to move this bracket up, and then this one would come in at the second least expensive next to the cheapest bracket. Now with this cheapest bracket, there's a pretty big jump in quality difference, obviously as displayed from our video here. But there was one element that I didn't call out that none of the other brackets have an issue with, but this one does. And that's the fact that if you look closely, this angle is not perfectly squared with the outside of this. So then your timbers that are going horizontally will be tilted just a little bit, but over a span of 20 feet can be a problem. And so certainly cheapest to most expensive, this bracket is really great. Okay, now finally, based off the criteria we covered today, this one moves down and that one moves up, and then this one moves down and this one moves up. So when you're planning out your pergola kit or lean-to or gazebo build this summer, keep in mind, Bjorn Woodworks, best price, best quality in the whole market, and then there's everybody else.